Um, this IVF thing, in vitro fertilization, in the other folder, this was from sometime back, the 28th of February. There's all these gals are doing this in vitro fertilization, and I think that it's because they're wasting their youth. That because they've been brainwashed to waste their youth. Look at this gal. Doesn't look like a Christian. I crack myself up. But anyway, this is old news if you're looking at this CNN 5 things summary. But in vitro fertilization, the Alabama governor, Kay Ivey, a woman, I forget whether she's Democrat or Republican. Come on, Alabama, why are you electing a woman? How far the South has fallen. Signed a bill into law aiming at protecting in vitro fertilization. That means in glass, fertilize an egg with a seed and make a baby, or an embryo, which is a developing human being, or a human being frozen in development or whatever. And in vitro patients and providers from legal liability were they to get killed. Because an embryo dies, they destroy an embryo, you're killing a life that you created in a lab or in a glass or whatever. Look at that gal. What was she? She's a patient. I feel like my embryos are locked up. I guess she's from Alabama. Doesn't she look not Christian? Not normal white? But anyway, white women are doing this too, I guess. Maybe, who knows? Normal white ones. The state Supreme Court of Alabama ruled that frozen embryos are human beings. They are. And those who destroy them can be held liable for wrongful death. Held liable for wrongful death. That sounds kind of like a civil suit. Sounds like a civil suit, not necessarily criminal. The ruling prompted 3 of the state's limited pool of IVF providers to pause some services immediately, sending some so-called families out of state for treatment, meaning would-be fathers and mothers, out of state for this stuff, and raising concerns nationwide about so-called reproductive rights. In this case, I guess you could call it reproductive rights, whatever. Giving special treatment to people who've wasted their lives so they can't have babies. In some cases, you can't have babies because you're barren or whatever. You're just born barren, or I don't know, barren, B-A-R-R-E-N, not B-A-R-O-N. Not Trump's son, Barron. Barron. Barren. No. So the Republican-backed legislation will provide some civil and criminal immunity. Experts say it doesn't fully address the philosophical and practical problems brought by the Supreme Court's ruling. The Skim is all over it, too. The ladies at the Skim, that was from Commie Nonsense Network, little report I just read. It's sort of vanity, you know, to me. The scientists have come up with a way that you can have babies easier, even if for whatever reason, you can't. Because they're encouraging people to, you know, like I've said this so many times, guys probably sick of hearing me say it. They encourage women to waste their lives in education, their youth, waste their youth in college and a university and career, and buy a house, give money and buy a house. And by the way, they're cheapening your money so that you can barely afford stuff. They've turned the men into beta. They're turning all the alpha males into betas. Hat tip to Hassan and JLP. I literally believe that they tried to turn us all effeminate and soft and less testosterone. Because I think that part of the reason, I suspect, of blacks being more violent, because they just are, and aggressive, is because they have higher testosterone. Both the men and the women have higher testosterone. And so that their anger expresses itself in outward rage, their emotionalness, right? Because we're all emotional until we repent. Feeds out into that, and whereas other people are angry and sulk, or angry and whatever, and be shy or fearful, whatever. So that's my theory. And so they wanted to reduce all the violent crime, and so they turned us all, sorry kids, gay. I disavow it, but that's what they tried to do to us. Women and their cockamamie ideas, and males, intellectuals, you know? Okay, Ivy. So it's sort of playing God. I don't really have a big problem with it. I don't know. I don't have an opinion on this IVF stuff. A big opinion about it. Clinics should be able to resume IVF services immediately. Normally they say reproductive rights and they mean killing the baby. Killing the man's child. Terrible. Killing God's child, which belongs for a time to the man, and the woman is supposed to be helping out. Right? The women get all this ownership feeling, ego over the quote unquote their children. That's why you saw Elijah McClain's mother crying and all dramatizing something that she does not need to be worrying her pretty little head about. She's causing more trouble than helping. Elijah McClain being the BLM fake martyr. Yeah, that's it. That's that boy. She made that boy. She messed him up, and now she's blaming the paramedics who had to deal with him. And maybe they messed up, but he died. Alabama's lawmakers maintain the new legislation is a short-term fix. Blah, 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 blah. Mixed reviews. Blah, 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 blah. I don't care. I think I got my points out about it. We all squander our lives on some level. If you have a baby, good, fine, I guess. But if you don't or can't, ladies and men, don't fall into your imagination about. Thanks about the Elijah McClain. I'm done with that. Thanks. Don't fall into. What my other point is, don't fall into regret about wasting your life, because you did. You know, we're wasting so much of our lives and time. Look at me right now. And it's not the end of the world. That's not what real life is. Real life is God-given. Seek God first. And do not worry about this stuff. Does that make sense? Hake, don't talk about our testosterone difference until you learn it, says Lin Yan Chen. Well, I learned it from you that black women have higher testosterone levels than the other women. So I got that. I was only repeating stuff that I heard from you, Lin Yan Chen. But okay, I'll obey. The chat gives me information that I repeat. So take what I say with a grain of salt. You guys are wasting my time watching my show. Wasting your time watching my show, says Carver531. No, waste away. All right, not funny.